Hello. And let's take a substrand. A substrand is what? Identification and names of animals and plants in the community. Identification and names of plants and animals in the community. We are going to identify names of plants and animals in our various communities. So can you tell me something? Just look around your communities and areas. Have you seen any plants and animals around that you can name them? Yes. Can you mention some of the plants and animals that you see around and name them? Good. So let's be doing that and move on to our next slide. Wow, our objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to. Our learning objectives, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to 1. Identify names of animals in the community. You should be able to identify names of animals in the community. Then 2. Identify names of plants in the community. Identify names of plants in the community. Wow. So we learned about what's the characteristics of living things and non-living things in our previous lesson. We are going to use it to answer or learn these objectives. Okay, good. So living things are plants and animals, as we said in our previous lesson, and we identify some animals and plants with their names. I hope you can remember what we did. Yes, we identified some animals and plants with their names. Then we use the characteristics of plants and animals to give them names. We use what? The characteristics to give them names. Good. So be thinking about it. Can you mention some animals that you know? Yes, and their names, and then the plants. So let's move on to our next slide. So what we are going to do today is identification of animals. We'll take it one after the other. So we are taking the identification of animals. So how do we identify animals with their names? How do we identify animals with what? Their names. Do you have anything in mind? Let's think about it, okay? Good. So on our next slide, animals undergo life processes. So they are living things, as we said. We said animals and what? Plants undergo life processes. So they are living things. And what are some of the life processes? We said what? They reproduce, they eat, they respirate, they extrude, they breathe, they move. So these are some of the examples. They move. We did it in our previous lesson. We said what? 1, they move. 2, they eat. 3, they breathe. And 4, they what? They reproduce. So these are some of the examples. Animals undergo life processes, so they are living things. And we have some examples here. They move, they eat, they breathe, and they reproduce. So let's go to our next slide. And I hope you are following. Good. So can you identify these animals with their names? Yes, there are some animals on the screen. Can you identify them with their names? So the first animal is what? Yes, can you mention it? This is a goat. Good, clap for yourself. You did very well. And then the second one. Say it again, I can't hear you. A frog. A frog, good. So we have a goat and a frog. Good. Ooh, this slide is very beautiful. Very, very beautiful, 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 very, very beautiful. It's very beautiful. So what is this? Can you identify this animal? A cock. Again, a cock. Good. What about the next one? I cannot hear you. A tiger. A tiger. So these are some of the animals with what their names. We identified a goat and then a frog in our previous slide, and then now we have what? A cock and a tiger. So these are some of what the animals with their names. Can you mention more? We have more animals with their names. Can you mention them? Good. So why do animals have names? Can you think about this? The reason why animals have names? Let's think about it. Names are given to animals to identify them. Yes, we give names to animals to do what? To be able to identify them. And some have different names for males and females. Some have what? Different names for males and females. So you want to know why names are given to animals, and then we said some of them have different names for males and female. So let's go to our next slide and see what we have there. Wow. So we said they have different names like male and female. So can you identify these two? As you can see on the screen, do you know the difference between hen and cock? As shown on the screen. Yes. So you can see this one. This is hen. So a hen can do what? Lay egg or lay eggs. So what do you think it will be? Is it a male or a female? It is a female because it can do what? It can lay eggs. So it's a what? A female. And a cock is what? A male. A cock cannot lay eggs. So let's go to the other side and look at it. Okay, so let's look at our next example. Example 2. We have a boy and a girl. So we can name it John and Ruth. Okay? We can name it John and Ruth. So a boy, is he a male or a female? Yes, a male, and then a girl, a female. As we said, the cock is what? The male, and then the hen is what? The female. So this is our next example. A boy and then a girl. A boy representing the male and a girl representing what? The female. So names are given to what? Animals to be able to identify them. We have a goat, a cat. They are all animals, but they gave them different names for us to be able to know the differences. Good. So let's move on to our next slide. So study the names of the animals in the following pictures. We have some animals here. Let's study them. The first one is what? Yes, let's look at the picture. I know the name is there, but can you say it? A cat. So the first picture is what? Cat. Can you say it after me? Again. Fish. Fish. Say it after me. Fish. Yes. The next one is what? Good. Lizard. All of you, lizard. Okay, so can we say all again? Cat, a fish, and a lizard. Again, cat, fish, and lizard. So let's go to our next slide. Wow. Can you identify this animal? A cow. Moo. Moo. A cow. We have a cow here. And a house fly. Cow and a house fly. So we're able to identify these animals. Good. We have more animals like what? Bird, all of you. Can you repeat it after me again? Bird. And turkey. A turkey. A turkey. Good. Good. So we just finished with what? Identification of what? Animals. We mentioned some animals with what? Their names. Isn't it interesting? I hope you learned everything and you understood everything. Excellent. So let's move on to our next one, that is identification of what? Plants. Let's identify some plants too with their what? Names. So we said that plants do what? Do not move, but can grow their branches and roots. We said it in our previous lesson that plants do not do what? Move, but can grow their branches and roots. And plants make their own food. Plants do what? They make their own food. Plants reproduce what? Through their seeds and stems. They reproduce through their seeds and stems. So we are going to do about or learn about what? The identification of plants. So can you again tell me some plants in your locality? Yes, with their names. Good. So some plants can grow very big. Some plants can do what? Grow very big. And such plants are called what? Trees. Such plants are called trees. Can you mention some trees in your area or in your communities that are very big? Good. So let's go on to our next slide to see what we have there. Okay. So some plants are small with their what? Soft stems and colorful flowers. You will see them. Such plants are called herbs. So we said in our previous slide that plants that have big or that are big are called what? Trees. And plants that have small flowers and soft stems are called what? Herbs. We see some spring onions, cucumbers, cabbage, and so on here. They are all what? Herbs. Good. So plants are small with their soft stems and colorful flowers. Such plants are called what? Herbs. Good. So let's come to the identification of plants with their names. Can you identify these plants? The first plant here. It's what? A mango plant. Clap for yourself. Can you sign? Can you sign? Can you sign? Good. You did very well. The first one is what? A mango plant. You can see how it's very big. As we said, that some plants are what? Very big. So this is a big mango plant. And the next one is what? A maize plant. Again, it's a maize plant. Good. And the next one, we have what here? Can you identify these plants with the fruits it's bearing? Coconut plant, all of you. Can you say it again? Good. And the next one is what? Cocoyam. This plant is what? A cocoyam plant. So we have a coconut plant and a cocoyam plant. I hope you have seen it before. Good. So let's move on to our next slide. Wow. What kind of plant is this? Look at the fruit and identify the plant. Okay. Good. So this is a pear plant. And what do we use pear for? Sometimes we use it for what? Our food. We slide it on our food. It's very delicious. Tell mommy to prepare some for you and try it. And the next one is what? Oil palm plant. The plant that we use for what? Palm nuts. That's what we have used for delicious palm nuts. So we have pear plant and oil palm plant. Oh, evaluation. But before we come to evaluation, let's revise what we did today, okay? So today we learned about what? Identification of plants and animals. That's what we did today. Identification of plants and animals. Good. And then we mentioned some animals with their names. Dogs, lizard, frog, goat, a cow, yes, a tiger, and so on. And then some plants too with their names. And we have oil plants, oil palm plants, yes, cocoyam plants, coconut plants, maize plants, pear plants, and a mango plant. Can you mention more of them? Good. So let's take our pencil and exercise book to write the following questions down, okay? Good. So evaluation. So you're going to answer the following questions on identification of plants and so we are going to answer the following questions on identification of plants and animals. So our first question, which of the following best identifies plants and animals? Which of the following best identifies plants and animals? 1. Color. 2. What? Name. So we have color and name. Which of it best identify plants and animals? A. Color. B. Name. 2. Which of the living things can reproduce through seed or stem? Which of the living things can reproduce through seed or stem? A. Animals. B. Plants. We said one living thing can do what? Reproduce through the stem or seed. Which of these two? A. Animals. B. Plants. And our next one, write the local names of the following animals. You are going to write the local names of the following animals. So this is what you are going to do. You ask of the local names and you write them for me. After answering those two questions, you look at the images, then you write their local names for me, okay? So we have here a mouse, a goat, a cat. So you write the local name for mouse, you write the local name for goat, and you write the local names for cat. And then you write the local name for cock, a dog, and a frog. Okay? So this is what we have for today's evaluation. I wish you all the best and make sure you answer all questions correctly. Take your time to the excellent. We did very well today in our lesson. I told you that what we are doing today is very easy and understanding. Okay, and end of our slides. Thank you and see you in our next lesson.